Hello and welcome to HighCast episode number 12. We're in the double digits. This podcast is recorded in the studios of Highland FM. Go to highlandfm.org.au to find out about your community voice in the Highlands. Haven't said that for a while. This podcast is brought to you by Rad Solutions. Go to radsolutions.com.au to discover how you can... I gotta stop just reading these. To discover how you can reach young people in the Highlands. It just sounds so not real. Anyway, our guest today is Erin Eames. Yes, I got it right. Erin is a marine biologist, a first aid medic, and teacher. Erin, welcome.
Thanks, Dave.
Welcome to the studio. I gotta start one day videoing these to show everybody how nervous Erin is. She's very, very nervous. Erin, tell me about oysters.
Oysters, interesting subject. First off the bat, Dave.
Who would have thought we'd be talking about oysters?
I know, right?
In the Southern Highlands.
Yeah, bit far away from the ocean to be talking about oysters, but yeah, what do you want to know about oysters?
So, I heard, and this might be a rumour, that oysters are hermaphrodites.
That is true.
So how do you, come on. Why? First of all, you're a marine biologist, right? So you know this. But why are oysters hermaphrodites? Is it because they're mollusks that are stuck to one place and that's how they spore?
That would be a pretty good description of why they could be hermaphrodites, I'd imagine, if you're the layperson like me. Yeah. If you had 2 feet planted to the ground, how else are you going to give offspring?
Well, I guess that's a sensible conclusion. But is that that's purely it because they don't move? It's like flowers. They have to pollinate in some way, and because they don't move, they've got to have both the male and female reproductive organs.
That'd be sexual reproduction compared to asexual reproduction.
You got to help me out here.
So I guess that's pretty on the bat. But then you've got a couple of fish species that are also have the ability to change their sex throughout their lifestyles, in essence, to breed.
What?
True.
Okay, what kind of fish are they?
Barramundi, salmon.
Really? I think I'd heard about salmon, but I didn't know barramundi.
As they get larger, they turn into females.
And is that again? But they're not. They move.
They do. Yeah.
I know. I know. I'm not a scientist, but fish move.
Maybe they just wanted a bit of both worlds and.
Come on! You got to give me the scientific explanation.
Nah.
No, that okay. So barramundi, salmon, oysters. What other strange creatures of the sea are there?
Of the sea in general?
Yep.
From the little wee microscopic organisms to the big giant fish. What fascinates me about the ocean?
Yeah.
It's diverse, mostly unexplored world. That's exactly the word I was looking for.
Is it true? And look, you're not like the authority on all things ocean. I've got you in here, Erin. You tell me the truth right now. But is it really true that we know more about the cosmos than we do about the surface of the sea, the bottom of the ocean and all of the creatures?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's I find it incredible. You can go, well, not we, but we've sent human beings to the moon, etc.
Apparently so, yes.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
Oh no, look.
See, this is the stuff I love podcasts for. Are you really a conspiracy theorist?
No, look, there's pictures to show that that's truth, so let's just roll with that.
Hang on, go expand.
If they've been there once, why haven't they been there twice or 3 times or more?
Wow, okay. So you're a scientist. So what, the evidence that's presented to you suggests that, the evidence isn't convincing, or is there no secondary, what is it? There's no peer reviewed.
Well, I don't know. I just like to sort of think about outside the square a little bit and think, well, okay, so they landed on the moon. All this photographic evidence, footprint taken and all this sort of stuff in a zero gravity environment, which are also quite interesting. Why haven't they been back?
Please tell me.
Why aren't there more flags on that moon?
Is the Earth round?
I'm definitely around Earth person. I'm not a flat earther.
For a minute, I was like, wow,
No.
this is going to be my favorite
No.
podcast of all time.
No.
Okay, but you really are you really a skeptic about the they didn't go to the moon?
Oh, I'm not overly skeptic. No.
But it is interesting to hypothesize about. Like, and it is a good question. Is it purely economics that we never went back there again? Because what was it? The 1960s that man first went. Man, women, people, we, us.
Monkeys, dogs.
Yeah, well, they went to space. They didn't go to the moon though, did we? Did they?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You're not an authority on space as well as the
No,
ocean.
I'm not. No.
Okay. But so in 1960 whatever, and into the early 70s, people go to the moon, and it's 2018 now, and they haven't gone back.
No.
So it is a legitimate question to ask. That one. So why haven't we been back? Actually, would you, if you say tomorrow, there's a spacecraft, and it's all safe and good, and they're just looking for lay people, would you go?
Absolutely.
Why?
I'd be spectacular.
Yeah.
To see the Earth from up there and put it into perspective to really sort of see how minute and small and insignificant we are really at the end of the day.
Yeah, I reckon I have a question that like a party question, and it goes along the lines of, would you rather be a guide dog trainer, an artisan baker, or an astronaut?
Interesting question.
Which one would you rather be?
Well, I guess astronaut would be pretty rad, but then you look at the guide dog training, and you've got a lot of goodness giving back there.
Because they all like they've all got their little things. So
everyone's equally as important.
Yeah, but it's interesting to choose. So I always, mine's astronaut. Say it'd be pretty rad. Yeah, I'm exploring the universe. Yeah, cool.
Adrenaline.
But then other people most people, I would say most people out of the three would choose guide dog trainer. Because it's a bit warm and fuzzy. You can see the obvious returns that you get. People love animals.
And no one wants to wake up at 3 a.m. to be a baker.
Yeah, so the bakery it takes its dedication, hard work to a career that sort of flies under the radar. So I actually probably 1 in 10 people would choose the artisan baker. But it's a really good ask it just to try and find what people are like and what their personalities are like. I often always ask people what kind of flavour ice cream.
Yeah, you got me that the other week. That was a beauty.
Well, it's good. I had a woman the other day and she's like, chocolate. I'm like, that is just boring. And some people were cookies and cream.
Mango sorbet.
Are you a mango? What were you? I can't remember what you were.
You threw me on the spot. I think I said.
So what are you? Okay, you've had time to think about it.
I'd have to go, the mango sorbet.
So no milk. Are you lactose intolerant?
Oh, no, not at all. No, I just like the fresh fruits, tropical fruits. fresh tropical fruits. So why fresh tropical fruits as opposed to like something that's creamy and sweet? Well, I suppose mango's sweet, but come on. Why not? It's the taste of the tropics.
The taste of the tropics. So every time you have a mouthful,
you can think
it takes you away to Barbados.
Yeah.
And you've been to some pretty cool places.
I have not. Barbados is not one of the places.
No, you can't even say I can't say Barbados. It reminds me of the song Kokomo. So where's the coolest places you've been?
Like Southern Highlands, if it's a literal question.
Right. So
a literal question, as in the coldest place. The most interesting place, work-wise, would have been in Western Papua, Old Irian working up there just after I finished uni and graduate diploma.
Yeah.
Big, huge cultural differences and no boat, cars or real major infrastructure.
Really? So how does one score a gig where they end up in Papua New Guinea?
One applied for a job and luckily scored that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I assume the cultural difference would have been fairly significant. What was the biggest shock?
Well, the language barrier was quite huge.
Yeah. They speak just the native tongue?
Bahasa Indonesian.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And you got different dialects coming through from the different areas that they get people to work from as well.
Yeah.
it's basic Bahasa Indonesian across the board with slight different pronunciations of words and things.
And so what, English is a second language but not very common?
I wouldn't even call it a second language
Really?
to them. Maybe a small handful of people might be able to speak English. So
wow, really?
Yeah. I had a couple of month intensive lessons on how to speak basic words, and probably at the end of my stint, which was about 3.5 months, could probably communicate as well as a 3-year-old, I'd imagine.
Really?
But
Okay.
The major words of what you needed to do and managing people to do the job.
Yeah, do you know another language apart from English? I don't.
A little bit of jibber jabber.
What
Really?
What is jibber jabber?
Oh, look, no, I don't. I speak a little bit of Bahasa Indonesian and English on a good day.
It's interesting that I've never been to Papua New Guinea. I've never been to Indonesia, but they're on Australia's northern doorstep, and English isn't even a second language there. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah,
I'm such a sheltered child. I've never placed myself unless I drank too much. I've never placed myself in situations that are really out of my depth. I remember I got drunk in Hong Kong once, and I was out too late and got lost and had walked around Hong Kong in the middle of the night, which was a bit pretty scary.
Yeah.
But I've never been to a place like Papua New Guinea and had to figure it out as I went along. Yeah,
well, it was more of a the company that we worked for had a section of the island. It was very remote. It took a couple of planes to get there, and then a 12-hour ship ride to reach our destination. So we were, like I mentioned, there were no cars or major infrastructure. It was glorified camping in a couple of the remote places we were on there with a bit of radio communication.
Wow. And what were you helping the locals learn how to fish? That
would have been really nice, and peace giving and all that. But no, I was actually employed as a trainee pearl farm manager.
So a pearl farm, are you putting what is it when you not propagate the seed? That's the word I'm looking for. So you're seeding all the way through to harvesting, or
you're producing the oysters to start with.
Yeah.
Collecting them. So different areas around the whole island section had different ratios of feed, which is the plankton or the algae. So you'd put them in nets to grow, separate until they got big enough to be able to seed. They'd be seeded, which is quite an intensive operational skill.
Yeah.
And then they're put down to create the pearl, pulled up, harvested, and either the meat sold off to eat.
Really?
Yeah, you can eat them.
Huh. Why don't we eat it
pretty
here?
bling.
Well, not necessarily. I don't mean necessarily in the highlands.
Eat the little oysters, which is a different
of course.
different species compared to the pearl-producing oysters.
See, this is why I love this podcast. I never knew that there was an off product from pearl production that people ate. Does it go into like dog food, or people?
People eat it.
Really? Huh. Did you find any like really awesome pearls?
There were always pretty awesome pearls around. They'd harvest them, and depending if they were keshi or proper round pearls.
What word?
Keshi pearl's an imperfect pearl. So it's instead of your perfect round pearl, there'll be little nobules and stuff around it. But we had pretty high security setups, and you wouldn't be, taking one home for your own use. So you go
a quarter of the way around the world to help. Would it actually helping New Guineans, or is it just the company that you work for?
It's an Australian-Indonesian-based company at the time.
Yeah, okay.
And it was just producing pearls.
The locals get nothing out of it, just so happens that's the place?
Employment.
Wow, okay. So how does one go a quarter way around the world and end up in Mossvale?
For love, Dave.
Oh, that's right, for love. But you went heaps of places first.
Yeah.
But I always find it fascinating that this is the place that people end up. You could be anywhere in the world. Are you familiar with Ben Folds?
Yep.
So he's got a song. Have we had this conversation?
No.
He's got a song called Adelaide, and it's about one of his wives. So he's a true rock star. He's been married several times. He probably has to continue being a rock star to pay off all of the wives. Yeah, but he's got this called Adelaide, where he moves to Adelaide to be with his wife, and the line, he's got a couple of lines. He's hanging out in Rundle Mall, which I assume is just like a Westfield in Adelaide. But the other line is, why are you in Adelaide? You could be anywhere in the world. And he's like, yeah, because I want to. And is Mossvale the same? You could be anywhere in the world as a marine biologist, and you're in Mossvale.
Yeah, well, it's just the way it is at the moment.
Yeah.
Different career options, different career pathways. But you got to do what you got to do, and what's permanent.
Hang on. So off air, Erin was commenting that she'd heard my podcast and I get a little bit deep, and then she opens it. So what is permanent? What's permanence?
Well, I don't know. I've never. This is secondary, the most longest place I've ever lived.
Really?
After uni, yeah.
Philosophy 101. So there must be. Well, obviously you've come here for love, and is it just love that keeps you in the Highlands?
Yeah, well, I guess if you don't have a balance between work and home life, you're not really doing yourself or anyone else any favours. So, I've had a recent career change. Well, since I've been down here, last 3 years, and moved into the first aid medic side of things and teach first aid. So has its own challenges, which I find quite interesting. Learning a lot about myself personally as well, confidence-wise. I think you do need to have a bit of balance between both. Love can take you places, but you need to be happy within yourself as well.
So a common theme with people who come to the Highlands is, well, for what I've discovered, is career change, because you pack up and leave what you may have been familiar with, and you've got to have your own or a new adventure. If you could go back to yourself 2 years ago, knowing what you know now about career change, what advice would you give? Oh, you must have learned something.
I've learned a heap. I mean, you've got to get out of comfort zone.
Yeah.
If you don't get out of your comfort zone, then you're not developing as a person, I don't believe.
Yeah.
And you might scare the hell out of you to start with, but you gain that confidence each time you dig deeper into your out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did a career change from media into emergency management, and I would go back and slap myself and say,
do it earlier.
Oh, yeah, or do it earlier, or be far more strategic about it. Like I just dove in and started applying for jobs. I didn't really think it through, so I'd be really strategic about how I approached it. I'd find mentors. I would have volunteered earlier, a whole range of things, because it's not easy. But a lot of us in the Highlands, I feel, find ourselves on that journey because we've come to somewhere that we're not familiar with and have to change.
Well, throughout all of my working career, I've bounced around Australia and overseas to different jobs, different experiences. So it's nothing new in terms of moving here and taking a different direction. So you've got to keep yourself busy and occupied, and if you're not learning from it, then pick another pathway.
Yeah, I'm big on continued learning. I'm big on challenges. My one at the moment, I don't know if I talked to you about this, as I'm doing a year of no alcohol.
You did mention that. How's it going?
This is why I'm telling people now, because I'm trying to keep myself accountable. So I'm at 8 months, and it's becoming it's not getting increasingly difficult. If anything, it's getting easier. And I think because it's getting easier, I'm finding myself a bit complacent. And so I've been to a couple of bars or whatever recently, and I'm like, it'd just be really easy to have a beer. But the important thing is that it's something that's hard to do, and because it's hard to do, that's the challenge.
The point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after a year, will you have a beer?
I don't know. This is part of the conundrum that I've got, is do I keep the sobriety going? Because what I found is, not that I was a raging alcoholic or anything, but I found my productivity levels have gone up, my creativity levels have gone up, exercising more than I probably since I was 20, maybe to replace the other fun things that I used to do. So I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But that's part of the journey.
Save a heap of money as well.
Yeah, I didn't even, that wasn't part of that, but I guess so. There's more cash in my pocket, but 8 months in, and I went out to some of the lovely breweries in the Highland, down to Eden, and what's the one in Southern Highlands? Brew House?
Tap House?
Yeah. I went there again, took some friends there, and they were diving into the paddles and trying all the different pints, and I'm sitting there going, I'll have a Coke, please.
Glass of milk, thanks.
Do you remember that ad?
Yeah.
Keeps
you going all night long.
Yeah. You couldn't have those ads anymore, I don't reckon.
Probably stir someone up.
Yeah, so someone would have a complaint about something. We live in a different time. I was thinking this morning about, so Erin and I have gone through we're both members of the SES. Actually, we should have introduced you like that. Not just medic and trainer, but SES volunteer.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, we missed that one. And we're learning how to drive medium rigid vehicles at the moment. I went for a drive this morning. It was interesting. How are you finding it? I
really like that challenge as well. I've only driven our 4.6 vehicle, which is the automatic, and just getting used to that spatial awareness, I guess, of the length of the vehicle.
So much bigger, isn't it?
But
and heavier.
It's not too bad though. I've enjoyed it, which is going to be a complete different situation to actually driving under lights and sirens at the end of the day. But to jump in 4.9 and have the beam me up Scotty seat and get into the gear changes back to normal driving, but in the presence of a extra large vehicle, it's going to be good fun. Yeah, I found it very difficult. The reverse is on opposite. Yeah, push up. Yeah, push to the left and up. Yeah. And you very rarely use first. Yeah, straight from second gear. Yeah, you're mostly in second. And I found it very difficult to go from third to fourth. Just go slow, mate. Yeah, whatever the gearbox, I just didn't like I just didn't like the gearbox. So that's probably the only thing that I found difficult. Yep. Apart from you're sitting. It's like you're sitting on the road, but really high because you're right up front. You can see a lot. Yeah, it's really different. And then you hop back in your own vehicle afterwards, and you feel like you're in a go-kart. I did the exact same thing when I first jumped in for a drive in 4.6. Yeah. I jumped in my car and realised the brakes in my X-Trail are incredibly sensitive. Point taken was when you do jump back from the truck into your car, that you really got to just have that second to go, wow, not driving big truck, driving little car, but still have the same techniques on the road, which is good. Yeah. You take that defensive technique. In my car, I started looking at the side mirror a lot and I went wide. Going wide, yeah. Well, have you got a motorcycle license? No. See, I did that about 10 years or so ago and found... Oh yeah, increase the introduction. Yeah, and the motorcycle rider. just for fun and another challenge. And I find that you've got a lot of defensive skills that you bring back to driving your own vehicle once you've got a motorcycle license, because you're driving to protect yourself. Yeah. And you do take those defensive skills back into your car. I could never ride a motorcycle, not because I don't feel confident in my ability. There's no big wall of metal around me to protect me from other drivers. It'd just be too... I appreciate my bones too much. Yeah, it's not for everyone. Yeah. Maybe a moped. Yeah, that would probably... That'd probably be more my style. Like... But I didn't know do you have a motorcycle now? I don't. I did in Western Australia. No. But I left it there. Interesting. See, this is what podcasts are about, to learn new things about people across, this particular podcast about people across the Highlands. So when are you going to, have you driven the manuals yet? No. Yeah, the transmission, like I said, the transmission is hard and the brakes are really sensitive, so you just go touch and boom, you stop. A couple of the guys told me about that. And what else is it? It is like, it's kind of like you feel like you're in a spaceship. Yeah. You got the payload behind you, and I don't know, the rest of the world's like a bubble because you're trying to concentrate on learning this new thing, and it's, even though it's not that foreign because it's still driving a vehicle, and we've driven vehicles
for half of our lives now. It was like I said to Warren, our controller, I said, it's like I'm 17 again.
Well, how do you think it would be if you jumped in a plane truck compared to, say, an emergency services truck?
A plane truck is in like a truck
no, one that takes off and goes up to the moon. No, say a plain old, transportable truck. I don't know, what are they called?
Yeah, it would be the same, right?
Well, would it, without having, say, all the bling of an emergency services vehicle, and knowing that people interact with you differently on the road as soon as they see you, and that's without having the lights and sirens?
Yeah. Well, it will be interesting. I was thinking a lot about, when I was driving today, I was thinking a lot, this is relatively easy. I'm finding it, not relatively easy. It was an easy introduction. And I'm finding my way doing 3-point turns and reversing and figuring out the best way to go around corners and all that sort of stuff. Imagine when the adrenaline's pumping and your heart's racing because we're going to a call out. That's going to be a whole new world, and you've got 10 tons of vehicle behind you. It's going to be incredibly
This would be somewhat similar, and we're lucky enough to have had, 8 months on RCR now.
Yep. For those listening, RCR is Road Crash Rescue. When
you do jump in your own vehicle and you're proceeding to a job, you still have that essence of nervousness.
Yes.
So we've had that time to just say, okay, jump in your own personal vehicle and have that windscreen assessment time, that time to have a bit of a think, which is going to be a bit more productive than jumping in a truck straight away and dealing with those emotions that you do from the moment you get that call out to when you arrive to the job.
Yeah, it hit me all of a sudden. I was like, oh, this is going to be different, and things like you go over little bumps and the entire vehicle bounces significantly more than what you're used to, and try and manage a radio and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh god, this is good.
Co-pilot.
This is going to be quite often we might be on our own. And so I thought, well, this is going to be an incredible challenge, this one. Why do we do it?
I think we just do it for that personal development, to help other people out as well. And
I'm not a smart person. You're not like me, but it's just why?
I think maybe we're a little bit crazy.
Yeah, perhaps. I was talking to my wife today about I feel like I'm always being tested. So whether it's at SES or at work or job interviews or whatever, I'm always being tested.
Or are you testing yourself?
Yeah, that's part of it as well. I've set my own high standards. But after a while, just 8 months sober.
Start rocking in the corner.
Just take a break. So even though I've got a day off today, I went off and did a silly thing of jump in a big truck and try and learn how to drive. And it's silly.
One day off for the week?
I got the entire week off, actually.
Oh, you beauty.
Yeah, I've got 3 weeks off. We're going to spend some time pottering around home and then on an adventure.
And where's your adventure?
Not in the Highlands. Yes.
That wouldn't be much of an adventure if you stayed in the Highlands.
Well, hang on. You'll get some hate mail if you're not careful.
Well, you can pitch your tent in the backyard. Is it really an adventure?
Well, look.
Maybe to your children.
Yes. Yeah. Everything's. Whoa. The mic just spun in my hands. Everything is an adventure in the Highlands. I feel like I'm working for tourism Southern Highlands.
Plug.
Everything. Plug. Everything's an adventure in the Southern Highlands. But no, you're right. It's important to get away. But this week I'm doing things like pottering around that I haven't done in a long time. Playing golf for the first time. I can't remember the last time I played golf. I should really go to the dentist. If there's any good dentists out there, I need to find a good dentist. But yes, doing the things that I haven't been able to do for a long time. I sat on the couch for an hour this morning.
Wow.
After about 35 minutes, I was bored.
Wow. Bored's not a bad thing, I don't think.
Really? Okay,
no.
So tell me about bored.
Well, both lead pretty busy lives, and if you get the opportunity to have that one day off a week or a couple of days off, whatever it may be, and you've done everything you need to do to sit down and ground yourself and realise it's okay to have that downtime. And I used to be a bit of a stickler of that, being bored is for boring people.
Yeah, I still kind of like that.
But I don't tend to get bored. I just like that quiet time.
Yeah.
So,
See, I kind of feel like if I've got half an hour or whatever that I can be sitting on the couch, and that's half an hour I could be mowing the lawn or whatever. But I think I've done that for too long. Yeah, well, it's not. Erin, she didn't do air quotes. She gave me the silent whip. It's not the case. It's my own silent whip. And yeah, I kind of feel like I should be doing stuff, and then I drive myself into the ground.
that's it.
But then
Hey.
I try to relax. I'm like, you can't relax. You got to do
Must charge on.
Must do other things. So it's like a vicious cycle. And so that's the battle to try and find the mind to relax. No?
No.
Maybe?
Well, sometimes. But
Yeah.
it's good to have that mind relaxing, body relaxing. You need it. You need to recuperate.
Have you since we've started doing Road Crash, have you started, maybe not, I'm going to fumble around my words here, I'm going to get them wrong, but have you changed at all? Have you noticed your thinking's changed or your perceptions changed or anything like that?
Absolutely.
In what way, if you're comfortable
Yeah,
talking about it?
no worries at all. I've grown myself as a person, matured a lot, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. Even things like dealing with death.
Yep.
It used to scare me a little bit.
Had you encountered death before?
I mean, not as direct as what we do with what we do.
So I'll put a disclaimer on the rest. We'll talk about some of our experiences in Road Crash. So if you're not that way inclined, or if you've had negative experiences in the past, maybe tune out for a little bit. But Erin and I will talk about it now. So you have changed.
Yeah.
So you mature your approach to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find I'm much more reflective.
Yeah, that's a good word for it as well. To put yourself in a position, especially as a volunteer, to go to some of these accidents that we do encounter, that it's not about us as a person. It's about the person that we can help and what we can do at that stage to be able to help. You can't win them all, so to speak, and it's how you deal with it afterwards. And with the support that we do have, which is absolutely tremendous, you can become a better person, I believe, a stronger person, if you talk to the right people, do your debriefs, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah, I the reason why I started the 8 months sober was when we started Road Crash. I thought I'll take it seriously. I want to be available for it. And I don't think if it was for anything else that I would have been able to see it through. Not that I'm weak-minded or anything, but I think, like you say, that it's not about you, it's about other people. And for me, the part of the being sober all the time was being available as much as possible.
Yep.
And so it has, in a way, it's changed me, because I kind of think, well, at any stage I need to be present to help people.
Yeah.
And I know I can't realistically do that forever. But yeah, it definitely it's changed my behaviours, for sure.
Yeah.
I find, is anything else, like I find, Erin and I did a fatality on the Hume Highway. October, was it? Yeah, it was quite a nasty accident. One of the gentlemen who passed away had a tattoo across his knuckles. And every time I see someone with a tattoo across the knuckles, I think I won't say what it was, but I think I remember exactly the letters. It's kind of imprinted in my brain. But every time I see someone with tattoos in their knuckles, I'm straight back to there. Are you finding things like that as well?
I definitely reflected on that particular accident for a while, but also spoke to a lot of people about it.
Yeah.
So professionally debriefed, and dealt with the emotions that I felt, because that was my first fatality.
Yeah, same with me.
So I knew, or you don't know how you're going to react to something like that until you do go through it. So I did reflect, and I see that particular vehicle, and so the colour of the vehicle, the type of vehicle.
That hasn't crossed my mind.
Just
now it will.
Everyone takes it from different perspectives, but it's really interesting. you've got to have that reflection, and if you can't bury that sort of stuff deep either. You do need to voice it and talk about it, and that's where you do grow and become a stronger person.
Yeah, I didn't notice I could know it was a utility. I know it's white, but that didn't stick with me. It was definitely the moment when we covered the gentleman over, and I saw the words on the hand, on the knuckles, and that's my moment. And if you're not comfortable talking about it, we won't.
No, I'm happy to talk about it.
But yeah, that's the thing. I think that'll stick with me forever. I think.
And I think all the training and the hours that we do put into the training is of benefit too, because everything that we do at the jobs there, we do at training, and even inside the car, which I was on that particular day, training just came straight back. It was autopilot, which was really good.
Yeah, I often wonder how I would go if there was children involved.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very difficult circumstance. But like you say, you rely on all the training that you do. Yeah. And you kind of go, I feel like now I go into a bit of, not autopilot's not the right word, but we've done the routine so many times that it just the process just shines through, and the emotion sort of goes away for a little bit. And the process comes out, and I actually have to snap myself out of it to go, hey, big picture, take a step back, what's going on here, as opposed to doing the tasks that need to be done. Well,
I was talking to my boss yesterday about outside influences going to a road crash, like the recent changes to legislation about vehicles driving at 40 k's an hour past road crashes and accidents. Yeah. And he asked me if I'd, can you hear the outside interaction? And I don't shut off from the outside world, but your focus is directed at the particular task ahead. And no, I don't remember someone driving past or hear X, Y, and Z, because you've focused on that particular task.
Yeah, it's kind of like tunnel vision.
It is, yeah, tunnel vision, good word for it.
Or blinkers, or...
Safely speaking, though, I mean, you're still very aware of your situational awareness is just paramount, but, well, that's it. It's a situation that you're aware of, not the excluding areas or...
Yeah, it's really crazy. Would you have considered that this is what you were doing when you first moved down to the Highlands?
Yeah and no. So it was sort of somewhat affiliated with SES when I was up in far north Queensland.
Were you?
I was, but I'd only just joined, and they didn't have any rescue or anything like that. A few land searches and the like. And when I did move down, I was aware that there was the rescue, and I didn't know if that was going to be the thing for me. I didn't know if I was strong enough, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I didn't think that I could possibly put myself in such a stressful situation and be of help. But with the training...
Hang on. Don't give me with the training stuff. You really didn't believe that?
I didn't have the confidence. I
Really?
didn't believe I had the confidence until I had to go.
Wow, good on you.
Thanks.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought you would have just been like cucumber the entire time.
No, I didn't, I'd seen my partner go to a lot of road crash rescues and thought that she was a hero, I guess, and it was a status that was not achievable in my current time. Yeah. And, I guess I took that leap and had a go. And if you don't have a go, like we're talking about getting out of that comfort zone. Yeah. Get out of that comfort zone, and the main essence is having the support network around you that you can. I mean, you're not expected to rock up to every situation and every job, but if you do, there is that support around. And without that, I don't think it would have been a very progressive pathway to take.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I would never have guessed that you would have been apprehensive about it, but that's the beauty of it. Everyone's different. Everyone brings their own past, their own skills to the table, and it's only through having these conversations that I would have discovered that maybe 6 months ago you were going, well, you know what, is this really for me? I actually never, apart from the kid stuff, I've never really considered that it wasn't for me. My take is, do I have the necessary skills to like to pull it off. Like I see a lot of people that have trade skills that are very good in the emergency situations because they're using tools that they are familiar with in their day jobs, whereas I sit at a desk most days, or my skill and my trade is my ideas and the words that I use. But you don't really do that necessarily.
Oh, communication's still a huge aspect of it as well.
Yeah, but yeah, so my apprehension was around, do I have the tangible hand skills?
But there was still that apprehension, and you learn the skills as you go through your training.
Yeah, either that or just make it up on the spot.
Well, that's it. Wing it. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, well, hang on. We're professionals. The people of the Highlands don't want to get the idea that the SES is full of fakes.
Plan A to Plan Z.
But yeah, it's an important thing to note. And for those of you who tuned out for the fatality stuff, hopefully you've come back. But they might know that the SES within the Highlands does all the stuff that paid people do elsewhere. Like, it's great. It's crazy.
It is crazy, yeah.
Absolutely crazy that you and I, as zero between us, might have half a brain, are doing this. Like, it's absolutely, like, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Yeah.
So I just every now and then I just have to pinch myself and go, Dave, you're a bit of an idiot. But I think it's important for people in the Highlands to know, because I certainly didn't know when I moved down here that it was even a thing that volunteers would do the rescue stuff. I thought it was just paid people. Yeah, I think a lot of society does still believe that it's even SES is a paid gig. Yeah, or if they want to pay us, I'll give you my PSP. Yeah, sure, absolutely. ABN number, go through. My account number. Yeah, that would be nice. So where is Erin off to next? Where are you going to be in 5 years' time? Oh, it's not a job interview. If I knew that, then look, that's a good question. I never know. Never know. Okay, I give you a crystal ball. Have a guess. Wouldn't have a clue. Still going to be living in the Highlands? I would not have a clue. Really? Nothing at all? No. So I didn't know. If you asked me 3 years ago if I'd be moving to the Southern Highlands, if I'd move into the Southern Highlands. So yeah. Bit of a gypsy like that. I say Highlands and you're Highlands. Highlands. It's the West Australian accent coming out. How do you say garage? Are you garage? A garage or a garage? Garage. Okay. Carport. 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 Driveway. No, see, one day I would love to live on the south coast of New South Wales. Yeah. Beach, definitely get back to the beach at some stage would be ideal. You're a surfer? Yeah. Do you reckon one day we could have here like a setup like at Penrith Panthers with a wave pool? Yeah, wave pool. Well, that'd be great. You guys can all go to that and freeze up the beach for me. Come on. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you're anti-people. You're not a people person. No, people are all right in moderation. I can't do lines, so I can't stand in line with people. I just have to, if I have to, I fully have to go into a zen. I have to almost meditate, or I can't go to places like the Easter show and be in huge crowds. So yeah. If I do, I need to know a week in advance. Yeah, mentally prepare for the situation. I need to spend 2 days preparing for it, because otherwise I don't like shopping centres, like big Westfields and all that. Really? Why not? Well, so just people and shopping. Not a shopper. Not a fan of shopping. Yeah, I'm not a consumer. I could pretty much go. I'm a clean person, everybody, but I could pretty much go wearing the same set of clothes as often as possible. If my job didn't require, I would never shave. I would just go pretty feral. And I don't need stuff. Yep. Do you need stuff? I don't not really. No, I'm not much of a materialistic person. Stuff's overrated. Yeah. I don't feel the need to fill my home with stuff. Not for the odd, if you're trying to prove yourself to other people and that sort of, style. Have people over and see your pretty things. Rather get out and go to the beach and go for a walk and enjoy the outsides. I would like to have a nice big property that I could bring people to and say, look at this. Look at my tent and my paddock. Yeah, my tent and my paddock. After when I was younger and I'd had too much to drink, I used to say I built my shack on Struggle Street. But maybe one day I'll have a tangent about it.
Off grid.
Well, actually, hopefully we'll have a guest on in May that's going to talk about a people-driven or community-driven power solution.
Yeah, right. That sounds really interesting.
For the Highlands, yeah. So in Goulburn, for example, they have a community-funded, organised, whatever you want to call it. See, time's flying. Didn't even realise. Community-funded power station down there. And so the community's all bought into it. They organised it, put it all up. Not themselves. They did it professionally. It's just like a couple of guys with some paddle pop sticks and a windmill.
3 little pigs go to market.
And their power goes back into the grid now, and so they all make a dividend off the investment that they've made. And so there's people in the Highlands that are trying to start that up. So we're going to have a guest on in May to talk about it. It's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the good things about the Highlands is that it's community driven, with the SES for example. Whereas, I don't know where you're from in WA. I'm from, I'm a suburbs boy. You're not from WA? You're from WA.
I am, yeah. I grew up in the Pilbara.
Okay. So community driven, I imagine.
I'd probably call it more mind driven.
Mind driven.
It was a good community sense when I was growing up there.
Yeah. Many people there?
It was about 17,000 when I left.
So
and that's just extrapolated quite a lot.
A small town. Then.
Yeah, I guess when you look at sort of the population of the Southern Highlands,
I should have asked these questions at the very beginning. What's it like to grow up in a small town?
It was good. It was good. It was pretty safe. Yeah. There was plenty of activities, like sporting options. It was good. It was good.
It was really good.
It was really fun.
Yeah. I imagine it's pretty is it different? It's very different from here, I imagine, if it's a mining town.
Yeah. It was, at the time it was a little closed town, so if you worked in the town, you lived in the town.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any fly-in, fly-out.
Are you still considered a local?
No.
No,
I don't think so. No, not anymore.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be considered a local anymore?
No, I wouldn't
imagine so. You were born there?
No, I was born in Perth.
Huh.
I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah, well, that's one of the fascinating things about yourself, is you've been so many places, and then like some of the other people that I've talked to on this show, you end up here.
Yeah.
And so how's the journey, right, that you end up here? Once upon a time, I worked in the media, and I made a decision to leave the media because if I wanted to be at the top of my game, it was London or New York, and I didn't, or Singapore or whatever, but I didn't want to go there. I wanted to do different adventures. And so the story is that I left the media to end up in power. So
is that work-life balance?
Yeah, everyone's got their own adventure, and this has been yours.
Yeah.
So we'll have to talk about the adventure more next time we get you on the show, and hopefully we've alleviated some of the nerves.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
It wasn't as bad as you thought?
Not as what I thought.
Really? So what did you think was going to happen?
I thought you were going to just throw me some real left field questions.
Like what?
And I don't know.
What is the meaning of life, Erin?
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, meaning of life questions and just crazy brain infart questions.
So brain infart. What is a brain infart?
It wouldn't be very good for me on my only one day off, I'll tell you that much.
No, it's all about the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's all about learning new things and giving the opportunity for people who listen to find out about, a person like yourself who volunteers their time to go and help people out of cars when they're having the worst day of their life. And if people in the Highlands don't know that the SES does that, how are they going to know the stories of the people who do it? And I think it's really important that people know. They don't know you from a bar of soap, right? But they know now. There'll be maybe 100 people who now know that there's a woman who came from Perth, went everywhere, man, and ended up in the Highlands and now rescues people out of cars. And that's a pretty cool thing, even if it is left field brain farty and it makes you think. Well, look, I hope you had a good time. And this has been HighCast. You can download episodes on SoundCloud. You can subscribe to iTunes. Later this week, we have one of the members from Wingecarribee Shire Council. A little bit of demand for this gentleman, well, they're all gentlemen, on Facebook. So we'll hopefully get some good conversation there. And then later in the week, representative from Highlands, I'm going to get this wrong, Highlands Entrepreneurial Regional Development. Well, they're just called HERD. Google it if you want to find out more. I can't speak. 50 minutes, I turn into a pumpkin. Thanks very much for tuning in.